Hey folks, so for this video I would compare and contrast the Pokemon anime with the Digimon anime. Give my opinion on which is better, if they're like on a par, as the title would suggest of this. Here I have the DVD box set for Series 1 of Pokemon. Well, it's not actually the full Series 1, there's some episodes missing. Unfortunately, got the best bits missing where Ash is in the Indigo League. but and I had to pay to see them again, which I would have watched for free back in the day. I watched Pokemon anime up to the Battle Frontier, which is about the time I stopped following Pokemon games. I played up to Gen 3, so that's Ruby and Sapphire generation, and after that, no, Gen 4, I played up to Pearl and Diamond, and that was the last good game in my opinion. And here I have a recently acquired DVD box set, and it's Series 1 to 4 of the Digimon anime. It's spread across 32 DVDs, and I've been enjoying it immensely. I've been binge watching it as of late. I suppose to get things started, a brief synopsis of what both Pokemon and Digimon are about, in case for those who are unfamiliar with even Pokemon. Pokemon follows the adventures of young Pokemon trainer Ash Ketchum as he receives his first Pokemon, a Pikachu, from Professor Oak, and he travels around across the land, catching other Pokemon, I said in the song back there, and training them, and trying to catch and train as many as possible, and beat all the gym leaders, and become a Pokemon master. En route, he's joined by Brock, the gym leader of the first gym, the Rock Gym, and then Misty, the leader of the Water Gym, and they in every episode they have to defend Pikachu and some of the other Pokemon sometimes from Team Rocket, who are the baddies. But specifically Jesse and James from Team Rocket, who are accompanied by Meowth, which is a cat Pokemon that's learned to talk, and they have the Pokemon Arbok and Coughing, who obviously they act on behalf of Team Rocket. They tell them what to do, but as they say in later episodes, Pokemon aren't actually evil. Only the trainers train them. Going to finer details, after a trainer catches a Pokemon, as long as they have a good enough number of badges to correspond with the level of the Pokemon they've caught, they will do whatever, they will obey the trainer, whatever attack, as long as they're able to do it, they'll do it. And all the Pokemon can only say their own names. They talk, but that's all they say. Like Pikachu would say Pikachu, or Squirtle would say Squirtle, Squirtle. And it's just basically good versus evil. Ash wants to become the Pokemon master, and Team Rocket, their boss Giovanni, wants to use Pokemon for evil and take over the world. The Digimon entirely pretty similar, but at the same time a very different kettle of fish. It follows the adventures of a bunch of children who we later know to be the Digi-destined. And they're, from the first episode, they're sucked into the digital world through the sky. And they all basically come across these Digi voices, like little computers, when they come to. And the Digimon pair up with them. They just sort of forced upon them, and initially they're all like what the hell's going on here? And they all have their corresponding Digimon, and like Pokemon, they all do as they say, and they Digivolve whenever one of the Digi-destined is in danger. They'll Digivolve into a more evolved form. But unlike Pokemon, after they digivolve, they devolve back to their original form. Whereas Pokemon, if they evolve into a higher Pokemon, whereas in Pokemon they'll just stay evolved. But in Digimon, the Digimon, if their Digidestined trainer, whatever, upsets them, or something else happens, bad happens to them, they can devolve back to their kind of baby form, and then later on they digivolve back to their regular form. Yeah, it's a bit more kind of fluid with Digimon. And all the Digimon speak fluent English for some reason, unlike Pokemon. And yeah, they wander around the digital world, um, and they meet like evil Digimon who want to just like take over the world. And sometimes the evil Digimon invades the real world, and they travel back to the real world and fight them in the real world. The Digidestined trainers, they don't catch any other Digimon. They don't catch Digimon. They're just stuck with whichever Digimon has forced himself and paired up with them, right? And the Digimon, they have more, like I say, they can evolve and devolve, but they have a higher range of evolution than Pokemon. They have a baby form, but you usually see them in their regular form. Like say, Agumon. I can't remember the baby form Agumon as I speak, but Agumon digivolves into War Greymon, and then like Metal War Greymon, and then there's an ultimate form as well, but they always devolve back to their standard form. So now I've got the my kind of rambled explanation of the plots of the animes out of the way. We're completely unscripted this, by the way. I guess I'll also go into the fine details, so I can properly compare and contrast the two animes. So, Pokemon, all the series of Pokemon I've seen, they have like humour in, like like Pikachu shocking Ash, Brock's frequent attempts to like ask out any lady he meets, but they always reject him. Misty getting angry at Ash, Team Rocket constantly being foiled every episode, blasting off again. And though most episodes contain like adventure and danger, there's always this kind of sunny summeriness about it. Like every episode, the sky's blue, and and also a thing I forgot to say about Pokemon when talking about the plot. It always seemed to be set in a kind of parallel version of Earth. Like it's just like Earth, but if there was Pokemon. Because in some episodes it references places like Las Vegas and other places on Earth, and you have like earthly animals like sometimes. Whereas Digimon takes place between both the digital world and the real world. Well, real world is usually the city where the kids lived before they went to the digital world. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the voice acting of Pokemon now. It's fantastic. The same guy who does the voice of James also does the voice of Brock, and the same lady did the voice of both Jessie and Misty. Yeah, she passed away sadly recently. But yeah, they're spot on. Ash's voice was played by a woman, Veronica Taylor, like Bart Simpson. The animation, though, always really clear and crisp. Is you pretty much use your standard anime, rather than like say like Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli level. And as time goes on, you do find yourself developing a stronger and stronger emotional bond with the characters, especially in this, the first and best series. As for Digimon, the best thing about Digimon, instantly noticeable, is the animation. As with Pokemon, it is crystal clear, crisp anime, but it's actually better than Pokemon because it has all these big epic. They get increasingly epic the more the Pokemon Digivolve, Digi-evolution scenes, and it's full like CGI. computer generated. And there's even some of the actual scenes that aren't like Digi-Evolution scenes contain some CGI. So yeah, it's definitely cut above Pokemon on the animation side at least. Again, maybe not quite up to the level of something like say Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro, but pretty darn good though. Voice acting again, as with Pokemon, is very good. Especially with not so much for the human characters, just sort of average. Like just got your sort of alpha males like Ty and Matt, who are like just sound a bit like Bill and Ted, and you got your sort of tomboy Sora, and you got your girly girl Mimi, who sound as you expect them to sound like. But the Digimon themselves have some top notch voice actors on those. Um, I think earlier I might have made out the Digi-Destin train the Digimon. No, it's actually kind of the contrary. As well as like the Digimon kind of force themselves onto their respective Digi-Destined, um, as well as being able to talk fluent English, the Digimon and they digivolve when their corresponding respective Digi-Destined individual is in danger. They also basically in battle against like evil Digimon, they just basically do their own thing, and they got like a set of attacks like Pokemon, but they just. Before I make my conclusion, I'd like to talk about the brand mascots of each anime, or indeed if both of them have them. Obviously, for Pokemon, it's Pikachu, the electric rodent thing. uh, Digimon as I suppose Agumon could be seen as a mascot. He's this kind of really cute, kind of very innocent dinosaur velociraptor thing, and Gabumon as well, which is this sort of like sea lion. I don't know. He's got a horn on his head as well. Uh, but yeah, I think it was more kind of official with Pikachu with Pokemon than Digimon having. But yeah, Aggie. So now I've talked about various features of the animes. I guess it's time to face them off against each other. So Pokemon, plot-wise, and versus Digimon plot-wise, well, both are about like good versus evil, and kids with monster friends. I would argue that you develop, say, as I said earlier, a more stronger bond with the human characters in Pokemon, and Digimon, a more milder attachment to the human characters. Um, as well as a fair deal with the Pokemon, although quite a few of the Digimon are super cute or awesome. The villains of Pokemon is always consistently Team Rocket, headed by Giovanni, who's always usually seen as like as a silhouette in a chair, like think of Dr. Claw off of Inspector Gadget. Most of the time, you do eventually see him, and yeah, they just pretty much the embodiment of evil. In Digimon, you get evil Digimon, but it kind of they defeat the Digimon, and then another evil Digimon comes along, so it's more kind of fluid and changeable. But yeah, I guess yeah, equally evil in the villain department. Humor wise, like I said earlier, Pokemon is sort of more like slapstick based, like Ash getting shot by Pikachu or attacked by other Pokemon, and Brock's consistent failed attempts to attract a mate. Yeah, it's more like cute slapstick comedy. Digimon has a more kind of, I don't know if drier is the right word, but it's more kind of really sharp, witty one-liners. Like, say that you got this fire Digimon running through a forest, and he's like, "Not even sunscreen can stop me." And you got this evil Digimon called Etimon, who's basically like Elvis Presley, and he talks like Elvis like this, and ends every line with So that's where we're up to. Yeah, story wise, I would say Pokemon is better. Humor wise, comedy pretty, but equally funny on the same level. Uh, Voice acting, as I say, Pokemon has it on point for human characters. All the Pokemon absolutely on point voice acting, even at the more minor human characters. Pokemon average mediocre for the human characters, spot on for the Digimon characters. Yeah. Animation wise, yeah, like I said earlier, this is where Digimon wins with those epic CGI sequences for the Digi evolutions, and even though integrated into scenes that aren't Digi evolutions, you know, when you telling the story. um, so in conclusion, it's hard to say. I'm not exactly an authority on this because I'm only up to the Battle Frontier with Pokemon, and I didn't really want to watch any further than that because that's about when I lost interest in the games. And up to about the first couple of series or seasons, if you're American, of this. But I would say it's a close call, but Pokemon wins. Like overall, but also especially the first series of Pokemon, because yeah, it's just fantastic, especially the Indigo League, um, like the Olympic Games of Pokemon. The climax of Series One is just amazing. um, and that brings this video to a close. I might talk about anime in future videos, whether it be Studio Ghibli or maybe even like a film like Akira or something. Let me know in the comments if you want to talk about more anime, specific anime. And that will wrap it up for this one. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks.